Hi, Taurus. Thanks for tuning in to the first half of your September 2018 reading. This is Luminant Libra. And let's go ahead and shuffle these cards and get into your September. How are you, Taurus? What you guys got cooking up? One thing I do know about Taurus is they always got something going on. Even if you think they don't. Okay. And not in a bad way. But you guys are usually pretty busy. Alright, Taurus, let's take a look here and see what is going on for the first half of your September reading. As I'm doing this, I just want you guys to be aware, I haven't said this in any other video. Please stay tuned for the description box. I know the description box might look a little bit empty, but it's just I haven't set up my links yet. I'm very new to YouTube. So that's why. That's all. Links and stuff like that, you know. Just stay tuned for all of that. Alright, Taurus. Thanks so much again for your patience with me. Okay, so how are we bringing in September? Wow. Okay, Taurus, so, wow, you're bringing in September. It looks like I have the sun here. I mean, clearly, there's a lot of clarity. Your mind is clear going into September. Your conscience is clear going into September for some of you guys. For some of you guys, August was a time where you learned a lot, either about yourself, about your inner self, or you learned a lot about a particular situation that just happened. A lot of information came to light, either about you or about a situation as you're moving into September. This is great energy moving into September, by the way. Oh, wow, with the devil reversed. Okay, so here I'm showing that as you move into September, I don't see that I see that you're moving away from either habits, old habits, toxic people, or toxic situations. Maybe you're getting over an addiction. I see you breaking free of that moving into September. Okay. The King of Cups here I show is in reverse. So, Taurus, I feel like in your life there could be a Pisces, Cancer, or Scorpio that could have been influential in you sticking around in this negative energy too long. I mean, this could be any sign, but predominantly either somebody that you really cared about deeply had you in this cycle, or just a Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio, or both. Had you looped around here, not able to break free of old patterns. Okay, but I feel like in September that's going to be cleared up. Yeah, the Page of Swords. So I think the reason why you're actually able to move into September with a lot of clarity is because somebody brought you that clarity. Somebody brought you the clear-cut truth. And I don't think that it was particularly, they didn't coddle you with the truth. You know what I mean? Like, it was definitely a hurtful truth. Or I won't say a hurtful truth, but just a shocking truth. So, with that being said, Taurus, yeah, as you move into September, you're moving into September with a lot of clarity because of the past situations that you may have struggled with before. There was information given to you that was able to allow you to break free of that. And to maybe break free of any manipulation that this reversed king could have been, using to keep you there. Okay? Yeah, see, you got the Ace of Swords right there at the bottom of you. So that just kind of reiterates to me that it was definitely some information that just came through. Maybe even, I'll even say for some of you, because of a child here being here, I'll even say that the page can sometimes be, symbolize children. I feel like maybe for some of you, Tauruses, your children, or one of your children, who is possibly could be an air sign, Libra, Gemini, or Aquarius. I feel like maybe one of your children came to you with some information, or told you some information just in a very raw form, and gave you a whole different perspective. It was just like, light bulb. Now I can be clear, okay? Yeah, I feel like with the Six of Cups here in reverse, I feel like you can feel the draw of this past situation or past person, tugging on you. Whether or not okay, is that, okay, so I feel like you feel you can sense this other person, or other situation, like you can sense them drawing you, like maybe trying to get your attention, or, hey, Taurus, you remember when we used to what, or, but in spite of you feeling that tug and feeling that pull, I don't think that you're consciously going to move back towards it. And why? Because if you do, it's not going to be an ending to your situation. Okay? But I think that also for some of you guys, I just feel like you think that there's never going to be an end. That in spite of all the knowledge and the clarity that you find, this might be a situation that maybe, is something that you just can't escape from because of maybe obligations, or because maybe somebody manipulated you into a false commitment. And so, in spite of you wanting to break free and not wanting to look back into the past, I feel like you're afraid that you will. And you're afraid that if you do look back, that if you do look back and, answer the tug of the past situations or situations, I said that already. if you actually do, give in to that pull of whatever that had you bound, or whatever that had you, under its influence. I feel like if that if you do that, it's going to lead to you never really being able to move forward in spite of really wanting to. Okay. Now, the total outcome, I see the Knight of Swords. So with the Knight of Swords here, this is telling me again that this is another Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius that is coming in to usher in new information, or maybe even usher in a new perspective. Again, in a very brash, not so, see here, I feel like the information is coming to you at a very like childlike way, where it's like, oh, somebody's like, well, by the way, da 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 da, and it's like, oh yeah, great, so I'm not even gonna mess with that, because I know that if I do, it's gonna be, blah blah blah, it's gonna be you ending up back here. But Taurus, the Knight of Swords is telling me no. You're going to hold on to that perspective, and you're going to run forward. And if you do go back that way, it is because you're actually going to be taking that information to deal with what had you bound once and for all, to deal with the person that manipulated you into a decision, or manipulated your emotions into staying a certain way. Taurus, this is really interesting, and this is just the first half. So let's get some clarification about some of these cards here. Spirit, can you clarify for me, please, the devil in reverse? I'd love to know some information about that for Taurus. Can you please help me and Taurus out with that information? The devil in reverse, please. Spirit, the devil in reverse. Oh. All right, here we go. So with the devil in reverse, the card that popped out, that flipped over, was the Queen of Cups. Okay? With the Queen of Cups being here and in the upright position, I feel like whatever that you are experiencing or you're trying to break free of, or that you just recently did break free of, it's still something that keeps you emotionally on edge. Like you have some really intense and deep emotions about it, Taurus, and to the point to where it's like you're guarded about it. What is this? What is this? Okay, King of Cups. King of Cups in reverse. I got clarified 2 cards. The Ten of Pentacles and the Fool. And when I have these 3 cards together, this is what I feel like. I feel like maybe for some of you guys, a Cancer, Pisces, or Scorpio man or woman that you saw as a very influential and that you maybe even looked up to, I feel like they manipulated you into something that made you feel like you were going to have, like abundance with. And so they just let you blindly walk into a situation that you really couldn't break free of, or it took you a long time to break free of for some of you. And some of you may be just emotionally tense about it. I don't know, just when I look at this Queen of Cups, like she just looks to me like she's guarded. Like she has, so much emotions, but I mean, the lid is on her cup. Usually the lid is off of her cup in some of these illustrations, but I mean, even in her face, she just looks like, wait a minute, don't you touch my cup. Hold it, back up. You know what I mean? Don't get too deep. Yeah. Taurus. Okay. I feel like you feel in this situation you don't see how, or maybe you didn't see how you could move forward. But I see you coming into this. I mean, I just see you coming into September just with so much clarity. So, what gave you that clarity? Here, down here, I feel like with the Page of Swords here on top of, or rather the Eight of Swords on top of the Page of Swords, what I'm getting a sense of is whatever information that was brought to you initially, I feel like it got your attention. It got your attention and it made you think like, hey, it gave you that new perspective like, hey, I can move into the sun. Like, I don't have to, you're right, I don't have to be bound. You know what I'm saying? I don't, it's in my head. Okay? So now you can completely move forward and not even think about the past. Okay? Because we know what you already fear that's going to happen if you do. Okay? You already know that your emotions are just, they're going to get the better of you. And not your emotions, but your thoughts are just going to get the better of you. Can we get some clarification about this Knight of Swords for Taurus as we close out the first 2 weeks of the first half of September? So we get the Prince of Wands. So that's pretty cool. So we get the Knight of Swords and the Prince of Wands, which are basically out of 2 different decks. They're equal in court, just different elements, of course. And with this, I just feel like, This is just going to reassure this, you know, like this is how you think about, you wanting to get past and get through the situation. And I feel like you think like you want to move. You do, eventually you do get to the space where you're going to move past this. You are going to move back into the situation, but not from an emotional standpoint. It's going to be from a logical, confrontational standpoint where you are trying to actually deal with it and not just sweep things under the rug. And I feel like with the Prince of Swords, the Prince of Wands in the same direction, I mean, the horses are doing the same thing. Literally, I mean, this is just two different decks. But I mean, I just feel like, this is you, knowing what you need to do. And then this is like you actually doing it, like it's reinforcing it. So I just love that. I think that's beautiful energy for you, Taurus, going into the second half of September. Well, Taurus, that does complete your reading for the first half of September. Stay tuned for the second half of September that's coming. I didn't mention this before, but this is for Taurus, Sun, Moon, and Rising. So if you didn't resonate with this one, then check your Sun, Moon, and Rising. And thanks again for tuning into Luminate Libra. You have a great one.